Okay. All right, so we've got matchmaking strategy. You may ask, well, what are you talking about? Matchmaking strategy. Okay, there's a couple things that we need to think about when we're talking about matchmaking. And again, keep in mind, this is for solo queue. This is me queuing up against John Doe, John Denver, Susie Doe, whatever. Okay, it's basically me against the world. My teammates are full retard. They don't know how to play Counter-Strike. I'm going to do what I want to do because they're just not going to listen. Okay, now, do I ever say run into a server and take this mentality into a game? No. Obviously, if your team's willing to work together, utilize that. Make the most of it. Really take what we brought in from the community lessons and filter that into how we play the game. Okay, but these are for when you solo queue. You've got some teammates who are just really, I like to use the word cancers, and they basically just don't communicate. They don't help you. They really troll more than anything else. Okay, so the first point I've got, it's simplifying angles. Okay, you may say simplifying angles. Well, dioko, what do you mean? I try to keep all my angles as sharp, as crisp as possible. Okay, with simplifying angles, you want to keep your angle peaks to no more than 2 angles. All right, you don't want to be seen from multiple, like 3, 4, and just hope that nobody's there. You always want to have a good educated decision of where you want to peak and how you want to peak. Okay, so try to keep it at least 2 angles minimum. I'm sorry, maximum 2 angles maximum, and then 1 angle if at all possible. Sometimes if you throw a smoke, you can only, say it's a big open area, and we'll have some examples in game in a minute, but say there's 5 angles they can peek you from. If I can knock that down to 2 angles, that takes away 60% of the chance that they have to kill me from, 60% of the area they have to kill me from. So we're just playing percentages is what we're trying to do. All right. So we're going to take it down from 5 angles down to like 1 or 2 angles. That's the key. That's the goal. Okay. Next thing we've got, eliminate threats. All right. Allowing yourself to move freely in a position that would normally have 2 to 3 angles. What that means is, all right, I'm going to throw a smoke here. Okay, I'm going to throw a flash here. That's going to eliminate that area. So this area that may have 2 or 3 angles as opposed to 5, like we just talked about, it's going to have 2 or 3. But because we're using certain things, and that'll be my next point. Because we're using certain things, we're eliminating those threats. Okay, so we're taking those 5 angles, those 3 angles, those 2 angles down to 1 angle if at all possible. All right. Next point. Use your grenades. All right. The 3 grenades that most new players need to learn how to use are your smoke grenades, your flashbangs, and your Molotovs. I'm the world's worst right now at using Molotovs because I'm an old school player. Bottom line, I really haven't made it an effort, made it a point to get that into my repertoire. So use your grenades to do what we just talked about, to eliminate threats, to simplify angles. All right, and by using these, it allows us to do both of them and probably both of them together. Okay, and then lastly, trust. All right, here's where it comes in, and here's what you can take away from these matchmaking strategy notes. The trust is knowing that you've put the time in to practice these smoke grenades, knowing that you've put the time in to use the flashes, to use the mollies, to know you're going to eliminate and simplify those angles. Okay, so by using all the 3 things we just talked about, we're going to gain that trust. Okay, and this is going to help you when you're creating your own strategies. Okay, when you're strategy crafting, as I like to call it, you're going to know where those smokes are going to land. You're going to know where that flash is going to be utilized. Okay, and by doing that, it's going to give you that trust to just, hey, I know I got to peek this angle, then I got to peek that angle. It's all about simplifying things. Okay, guys, so just keep that in mind. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to hop in game. And remember, guys, if you have any comments, questions, concerns during this time, feel free to speak up. Okay, this is obviously recorded like all my other lessons. So that being said, we'll hop in the game. Chat is obviously right there, so if you've got any other comments, just hit me with them, okay? First thing we're going to do, this is how I practice. This is how I practice my smoke grenades, my Molotovs, my flashes. All right, I just get into a server. First thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and type SV_cheats1. It's going to allow me to use some commands that I typically wouldn't be able to use, but it's going to help us be able to see some things. The next one we're going to use is SV_grenade trajectory. If you type SV_ and then grenade, it's going to be the first option. We want to make that option 1, okay? And then lastly, when we want to do SV_infinite ammo 1 as well. That's going to allow us to carry basically infinite grenades. All right, and then the last thing we'll do is we'll just simply restart the game. Okay, then we'll go through, then we'll buy our smoke, our flash, and our Molotov. Okay. All right, good. I had a little glitch. Let me turn up the volume just a little bit so we can hear it. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do in these matchmaking strategies. Is I'll go ahead and no clip to the first spot. All right, it's about taking areas and we're focusing on terrorist. It's the main thing because terrorist is typically the one side that you're really kind of a man on an island. All right, so we're gonna break this down to sections of the map. So for instance, Inferno's got B. You've got middle. You've got apartments. You've got boiler. Okay, we're going to break it down from all those different perspectives. I'm not going to overload you with stuff and say, all right, you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm going to show you one or two types of scenarios, and then boom, we're just going to keep going. Okay, that's all it is. Real quick, real simple, and to the point. All right. So first things first, we'll go over to B. All right. Here's how we want to take B. We want to basically shut down anything from the site because we're pretty much going to be guaranteed that there's going to be somebody in the site. All right. So let's talk about the angles here. You've got first of all, you've got this angle here. All right. We'll get back to that angle in a minute. That's going to be important. You got one here. You've got one here. You got one in the back. You know, you've got all sorts of angles as you run through here. Again, we want to simplify. We want to break these down. We want to get it down to maximum 2, or if we can, 1 angle. Okay. So for this particular scenario, we're going to break it down to 1 angle. All right. We're just going to come to this back wall. Okay. We're going to clear this little corner here in case somebody's playing on this wall, and all we're going to do is just we're gonna lob a smoke grenade right about there. Okay, probably not the best smoke grenade in the world, but again, this is where your personal practice is going to come into play. Okay, this smoke grenade basically it's gonna take away 3 or 4 angles from the site. When we throw that smoke grenade, what we're going to do is we're just going to, in the same spot, we're just going to lob flashbang right there. Boom, it's going to go off, and at this point, we'll say that smoke grenade landed. It's not going to be the greatest smoke, but it's going to do the job, essentially. So, yeah, there's a hole here, but normally that's going to land right in here, okay? But throwing that flash, we'll be able to peek this. We'll be able to work back around and basically simplify that angle. We're going to say, okay, we're going to work towards CT. So we've got 1 angle here, and again, we're going to just imagine there's going to be a smoke right here, okay? We'll throw that flash high. We'll just come in here. We got this angle to clear first. Got an angle, angle, angle. Okay, good. Then, after we clear this angle, we can kind of turn, look back towards sight, make sure that's okay. And if we can just walk right into here, boom, bingo. We've got us a section of the map. We've chiseled out a little part in the map, and it now becomes ours. All right, so that's it for B. And again, guys, this is about you. This is about creating your own stuff, crafting your own strategies, and doing what you can. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to do a take onto, we'll say, truck side. This being truck side through here, up to boiler, patio, whatever you call it. All right, call it's maybe different depending on which country you're in, who you play with, etc. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to throw a nice little smoke grenade here. Okay, and it's going to bounce over. And again, not the best smoke in the world. It's okay. All right, but we see kind of what it accomplishes here. All right, so what we can do behind that is just throw a flash. And again, guys, this is about how you do it. You can throw a flash there. You can kind of throw a fadeaway there. Okay, it's going to do a lot of things. And then you just kind of, again, simplify it. Yeah, this area is a little open. Ideally, where you want the smoke grenade is landed out here. Okay, figure out what works for you. Figure out your pattern. Okay, so get that smoke there. Throw a little fadeaway flashbang. Boom, then just come up here. You got one side to peek. That's all you got. Nice and simple. Maybe swing a little wide. Maybe if you got a molly, toss a molly in here into the boiler room. Up against that wall, just swing wide. You know, then you've gotten to this point. You've chiseled out your part of the map, okay? So that's a good thing. All right. Here's another thing we can do. We can go the opposite. We can go towards our side, okay? So we're just going to get a nice little smoke here off the wall. Maybe just line up the tip of this close to the edge of this wall. Throw us a good smoke grenade here. It's not going to be bad. Let it go off. A little fade away flashbang. And then boom, we're gone. Okay? Again, pretty good smoke. Not the best, but again, that's where your personal touch comes into it. Throw the flash, and we're just going to work up here. All right? And again, we're eliminating angles. We're allowing ourselves to simplify the angles, eliminate the threats, all with our grenades. Okay? And then from there, it's just a matter of, all right, well, I've gotten this point. I know an opera's going to be here. Pretty simple angle to peek there. If we think there's a guy back by library, maybe just throw a flashbang over that wall. It's not a very good one, but something like this. Over that wall. Boom, right there. Then we peek it maybe here and here. Again, 2 angles here. we've simplified it. We've made it pretty good. Okay. Pretty much the last part of this one is just an apartment peak. Okay. There's not much really you can do from up here other than maybe throw a smoke right here and then peek out. So I'm not going to get into that. That's a death trap for me. So there's way too many angles there. Not going to fool with it. The last one I want to do though is a good little boiler peek. So we're going to come up here to the side of the stairs. We're just going to drop a smoke right here. Right behind it, we're just going to drop a flash. Boom, flash goes off. It's going to be behind us. Bam. We've got some access to boiler. All right. And with that flash going into the smoke, he may not really see it. He may kind of hear it, but he's not going to see it. So we can kind of go out behind it. Boom. It's going to be behind us. But again, simplifying the angle. We know a guy's probably not going to lurk through that. And if he does, he's not going to be able to see us till we get really up into here. So that's all it is. Very simple, very to the point. And basically, it's just saying, if my teammates aren't going to play with me, I've got something in my back pocket that I can pull out and give myself a chance, give myself a fighting chance, okay? And you'll learn what the weaknesses are, you'll learn what the strengths are of them, and you'll learn how to abuse them. And remember, from the community lesson, you really just need to practice stuff. You need to attack your weaknesses. You need to continue working on your strengths. But again, become a balanced player, all right? There's a lot of things you can take away from this stuff right here. That's just going to make you a well-balanced player. It's going to make you somebody who, if you're in a clutch situation, 1v3, you may have something in your back pocket when you're in a situation that you can really pull out and win a round.